Peter Attia and Huberman and Rhonda Patrick talking about the cognitive benefits of creatine. So we're almost seeing creatine's been kind of plateauing to the point where Allschem isn't taking on any new customers for Creapure. They're that in demand that they're turning down business. And I've been buying from Creapure for, thankfully I'm grandfathered in because I've been buying from them since like the early 2000s. But what are you seeing, you know, that's coming on the market ingredient wise that has the potential to become the next creatine?
It's a great question. I don't think it can be overstated that I think creatine is going to continue to grow past what we consider to be, you know, we use creatine as a standard, you know, like can it be the next creatine? Is it as good as creatine? I firmly believe that even what we think of with creatine in that way is going to change in the next 5-10 years rapidly. I think that creatine is going to become something that, like, I have to fight my dad to take creatine. Like, I think it's going to become a thing that everyone takes normally, kind of in a way like vitamin D maybe. I'm really hoping for ketones. I know we mentioned before we both work with ketones. I think when I brought him into this drink and a few other times, I really kind of set my foot down and said that I really think that ketones are probably the most underrated nutrient. There's a lot of niche nootropics. There's a lot of different things out there that I could say are going to grow. But when you talk about what creatine is a nutrient that all humans can utilize, whether they're athletes, aging, growing, studying, working, whatever it is. Ketones, I think of in a very similar fashion. I recently did a nighttime pre-workout for that Formulator's Corner because you can take ketones at night, get the benefits of some energy, but without the issues for sleep. But it's funny, later today, I'm actually going to be filming a Formulator's Corner about a sleep aid that contains ketones. People ask me about ketones, and I say there's no bad time you could take them. You could take them in the morning waking up. You could take them pre-workout, intra-workout, or post-workout. If you hit your head during the workout, you could take it after the workout to help out with a possible concussion. You could take it before bed. There are so many different benefits of it, whether from, you know, fat loss to muscle gain to just focus. I think I've kind of seen you like really adopt it as you've gotten into them, and it's been really validating for me because I love them so many ways.
Well, it's changed my life. I'm serious. Like it has changed so many things, from my sleep quality to just having more energy, mental focus. I can go literally have a bad night of sleep or go on a red eye and just be fine the next day. Kind of what we're seeing with the creatine, and this is my hypothesis. They did that bolus of creatine and then the lack of sleep. And so they bolused, I think it was 25 to 30 grams of creatine, and it took away all markers of sleep deprivation, which was crazy. And what creatine does is the ATP, and people don't realize the ATP is also fueling your brain. So creatine does have an ATP effect, but BHBs or ketones actually provide direct ATP. So when you combine creatine and BHB, it's 1 + 1 = 3. And it actually potentiates GHB, and likewise, creatine potentiates, BHB potentiates creatine, but also the other way around, creatine potentiates BHB. So if there's one thing I'd take, I used to say, I still like health supplements like ambrosia nectar. For me, it's always, no matter how hard I went in the gym, no matter what, I'm going to say it, no matter what drugs I took, like my liver values, my kidneys were always on point. For me, that's firsthand experience. It's like, great. But then you look at, but now I look and I'm like, if there's one thing I'd take, you got with BHBs, you get the anti-inflammatory effect, you get the cognitive effect, you get the sleep quality, you'll get the workout. And then with creatine, you get all the cognitive benefits, if you're old, the anti-Parkinson's benefits. And then you were talking about if you get bonked on the head, you know, there's a product out there called Concussion 911, which its main ingredient is BHB, which is literally an emergency kit. Go to sites, concussion911.com. And it's literally a kit you buy, which is in case of emergency, break open. Say my daughter played a soccer game. She fell, hit her head, got a concussion. That day you start dosing them with that. And the doctor who created it, I talked to him. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I had someone who couldn't even look at any light, like anything beyond pure darkness. Within a day, that patient was able to function normally. So just, if it does that for a concussion, what the hell is it doing when you're normal, right? It's like, holy shit, this is amazing. So I look at that as my hierarchy of supplements that I'll probably put creatine and BHB at tier 1, a good, and then shared with tier 1 on another tier, kind of the health tier. this is performance and health, where I put like a good solid organ, and this is my list. So, well, you sell it. If yeah, okay, great. I sell it, but it's still, I would buy it. And of course I'm going to create stuff I like, right? And then multivitamin, fish oil, whatever. You can all bulk those together, whatever your goals are. But if I'm going with a tier, man, I'm going with creatine, BHB, and a nice overall health support supplement on top.
Are you gonna make a ketone like standalone?
There's everybody. So that's where I see it going. Absolutely. I think everybody should make one. I think everyone should have one. I think that it's going to be like creatine in that, because the thing about BHBs is you have dosing, like the sleep study you're talking about. There was one done in 2018. There's another one that was just done in May of 2025 out of Japan. It was 1.9 grams of BHB. Whereas if you're looking at the weight loss studies, you're looking at around 10 grams. And if you're looking at just energetic effects, you could get anywhere from 2 to 5 grams. There's still studies being done on the perfect dosing, and that's going to take some time. But I'd say if you get 10 to 20 grams of BHB a day, you're in a really good place. So what people want to do is just adjust their dosing, right? I might not want other stuff with it. So if I already have creatine, I'm gonna just get a tub, and NutriCost sells one. I know Sports Research sells one. Real Ketones sells one. You know, it's one of those where that, and there's one that's a cool little gel pack. It's called Let's Go. And it's like 4 grams of BHB, but it's in like a squeeze pack, like a gel. I mean, if I'm looking at that, I'm going to see, I think you're going to see a very similar pathway in delivery to creatine, where it's going to be in formulas, pre-workout, sleep products, kidney formulas. There's a company called Santa Barbara Nutrients that does this kidney formula where BHB is a main driver. You're going to see it in those formulas, but you're also going to have it where every company, just like Creapure, like look at Creapure's page, there's like 10,000 products on it, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to see it where every major brand and every minor brand is going to have it as a commodity.
Yeah. How much creatine are you using every day?
So here's the problem. I travel a lot, and I am getting in a better habit of taking the container with me. Even as a supplement salesman, I'm not very good at traveling with supplements. I always forget to take it when I'm on the road. My schedule's off. But I try to at least get 10 grams. When I'm at home, I try to get 10 to 20 grams because of the new emerging data. And I actually had to take back a lot. I used to get in fights with people that you only need 5 grams a day. And now I'm like, whoops, that was wrong.
See, this is what I mean. I sincerely believe that the talking points around creatine are going to change. I think that, you know, you and I were probably people who always said, like, you know, it doesn't matter what time you take creatine, but now it kind of does matter what time. Like if it helps after bad sleep, then does it help after a really intense workout? It could, you know. I'm starting to like turn all of my thought process upside down. I'm thinking back in the day, like the Lane Norton bodybuilding.com days, where all you need is 5 grams of creatine and caffeine in your stack, and everything else is a waste. And all of a sudden now it's like, you can take 20 grams. You can take it for a certain time. It's very interesting.
Well, I always thought of creatine as a non-acute buildup type supplement, right? Like once it's topped off, it's topped off. But the data, see, here's the thing. I talked about this with Dr. Ben Bickman. As soon as they said, trust the science or believe the science, that's when they lost me. That's when I'm like, I'm not trusting anything you say. What you say to do, I'm not doing it. Right. And again, I'm not taking a political stance here. I don't care if I am Bernie Sanders himself with a Mark Lobliner brain. I'm literally going to tell you, and I don't have a PhD. I have a marketing degree, so I could sell you a PhD, but I can't get a PhD. All right. So here's the problem. If you know anything about the scientific process, which you should have learned in 8th grade, science is never settled.